Hello, welcome to my second game against Prix in the Grand Market Grand Prix tournament. I'm one of the lower rated players in this tournament. Prix is the highest rated player, as evidenced by their rating there. Let's take a look at this kingdom. There's a notable lack of villages. There's also not much thinning, although you can do a little bit with Lackeys, Displace, Scepter stuff. Canal can be quite nice. So the question is, are we doing Lackeys? Are we doing Fool's Golds? Are we doing Displace tricks? You can play with a terminal, and if your terminal is Displace, which it seems like is the best terminal here, then you want to build towards that. So one thing we could do is open like Lackeys, Necromancer, try to thin a little bit, then pick up a Displace and a bunch of Fool's Golds, and then gain provinces and displace the provinces into golds, and have some mix of golds and Fool's Golds. It just seems that deck seems really hard to line up your cards to actually get the things that you need. I wonder if that deck just wants to play with regular golds as opposed to Fool's Golds. Canal is also decent. It lets you turn coppers into silvers, for example, with Displace, although it does not let you turn estates into duchies. Yeah. Because copper still costs 0, but silvers only costs 2. I think Lackeys Necromancer makes the most sense to me. It's a little bit awkward of an opening. I'm not hitting 5 very quickly, but the deck that hits Displace fairly quickly doesn't hit 5 super often, I don't think. And I'm pretty happy to just take my turn and do zombie, what am I saying? Zombie Mason, the top card. Here, we'll take a silver now. Trash the top card of my deck. Trash is a copper. Don't gain here. And grab another silver. So I'll be able to pick up my Displace now, which I assume is what they're going for on their 5. So Lackeys are nice, Necromancer's nice. Probably early on I'll Displace estates into Lackeys, probably even. Maybe take a second Necromancer if there's something good. I mean, you can always play Apprentice on a Lackeys Mason to thin a card. Spy if you need to. Yeah, so now that they have Displace in the deck, they don't necessarily want to do Zombie Mason without considering if they hit the Displace, they'll be really sad. They get second Necromancer and a Peddler. Makes sense. Peddler seems like a reasonable card in this deck. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with 6. I think I'm going to get a second Displace. There are other things you could possibly do. You can also think about getting a Scepter. Scepter lets you play Displace again. You can also go, I don't know, Torturer or something, right? You've got some terminal action capability, so Torturer doesn't seem like it's absolutely terrible. You can get a couple of plays off while you have villagers from Lackeys. So that's what I'm considering. Torturer. I like the Torturer stuff into the Scepter stuff. So you get a bunch of Scepters after this, and then you can play one terminal, and then in theory you get a bunch of hits with Scepters. So I'm gonna go with that. They took their own Torturer now, so that's a good sign that I'm not crazy. I'm gonna turn this estate into my own Necromancer, I think, and buy a Lackeys. Again, villagers. Draw. I did bottom deck Necromancer, which is fine. I think I will top deck that and then trash it, which is nice. And then I can pick up a third Lackeys. Again, I'm looking to Zombie Apprentice these Lackeys quickly. Here I'll play the Lackeys because I do have a Torturer down there that I'd like to play. I've seen all my estates already. I suppose I'll discard here. No, I'm hoping to trigger the shuffle, so I will take one curse, and I will displace it into a Lackeys probably immediately. I've got 6 villagers. They've got 3, so potentially that's a good thing to have. Grabbing more lackeys, grabbing more villagers lets me do the torture, scepter, display stuff a little bit more often. Obviously, the lackeys pile will run, the curse pile may run, and then this kingdom may end fairly quickly. I've already trashed 2 and set aside 1, so I'm a little bit thinner than they are. I've also got another lackeys. They've got a Peddler that I don't have, and I think maybe 1 silver that I don't have. Did they buy 2 silvers? Nope, so I have a little bit more stuff in my deck, but they have been able to play some of their key cards. They've been able to play their Torture at least before me, and I may bottom deck the Torturer here. If nothing else, it misses the shuffle. Peddler's a little bit awkward if you're going for this Torturer Scepter stuff, but I don't actually know if we're going to get into the Scepter stuff or if we're just going to start displacing stuff into provinces before that happens. I assume they don't want to trigger a shuffle here, but we'll see what their plan is. Okay, yeah, so they're able to trash. They're going through a lot of villagers, but I guess they're going to gain a couple more here. And I assume this will be a Scepter? Yeah. Lackeys. Torturer? Okay, do I want to play this Lackeys? I have a couple of zombie Necromancers down there that I'd like to be able to play. Plus, is there anything good in the trash? No, plus card action. I will discard that, I guess. I could top deck it and trash it into another Lackeys, which seems not unreasonable. My goal for this turn is just to buy a Scepter, but maybe I will displace a silver into Scepter and buy a Scepter. I do have 2 estates down there, right? Yeah, discard that. Zombie Mason to gain a Lackeys. And then I will grab a couple of Scepters and hope that I can get a decent draw and line some stuff up. This is tough. I've got so many good cards in the hand. I think I have to take a curse, 1 curse, and then if they play the Scepter, the Torturer again, then I'll consider discarding Estate Curse. That makes sense. Gonna strongly consider, and I think I will just lead by Zombie Apprenticing a Lackeys here. That gives me 3 draw, Torturer. I should be able to get 2 Torturer plays in this turn with decent draw. And then, you know, once you've drawn deck or your opponent, the curses are drawn, you can hit your opponent with the. You can hit the Scepter with the Displace. So you can displace. You can play Scepter to play Displace again potentially. Just drawing with Scepter, Torture, Necromancer, Lackeys, it's all a bit awkward, to be honest. I feel good that I have a lead on Villagers, although they may gain the last 3 Lackeys here, and then they will have the lead on Villagers. But really, you can't play Torture and Displace in the same turn without a Villager, and I've got also all these Lackeys. Again, the Lackeys are probably going to get trashed to Zombie Apprentice. In theory, they have 2 gains, right? They have a Displace gain and a buy. They could also play Scepter on the Displace to get 3 gains if they wanted to do that. They also have zombie gains. They also have zombie mason gains. So they do potentially have 3 gains that they can play. I think this is a fairly clean shuffle that they would be triggering. They triggered a clean shuffle last turn and they've discarded only a couple. So yeah, it looks like they're going for the Lackey pile now, which means they didn't torture me again, which is probably fine because I have a curse in hand. And maybe if I discarded the first time, they would have hit me with it. Okay, so we're going to apprentice a Lackeys to start. We play a Torturer. I mean, we really want to see our stuff here, so I'm going to have to blow through some villagers, unfortunately. I guess we play one more, and okay. All the apprentices are at the very bottom of the deck, and we're going to dead draw them, which is not terrible, but not really what I wanted to see here right now. So we're going to displace... I suppose we're going to displace Curse into Lackeys here. I don't really want to play the Lackeys. I'll play the Torture again. This, yeah, bottom decking the Necro and the other Scepter. I guess bottom decking the Scepter doesn't matter. There, play the Torture again. I assume they're going to take a Curse now. I think I'm just going to take a third Scepter. It feels pretty close here. I have to see the Torturer fairly near the top of the deck for this to work. But I could also take the Canal now, but I think getting the Scepter Torturer stuff going, and I'm only going to be able to do it a few more times with the makeup of the deck. I can also then, yeah, when the curses run, or Scepter Displace to turn these curses and estates into something useful. So the alternative is Canal, right? Everything costs one less, so it makes it a lot easier to buy stuff, and I can turn those coppers or curses into silvers, which will be better cards now. I'm really uncertain. The problem is I'm so low on villagers that maybe the Scepter stuff is too greedy. And hitting 7 is much more likely than hitting, 9. So I'm going to, I suppose, take the Canal now. I'm really uncertain between Scepter and Canal here. I think I'm going to go Scepter, try to get the stuff working. And by the stuff, I mean the Torturer stuff. They've had to discard down to a 2-card hand, so that's quite nice for me. We'll see if those 2 cards are like Torturer plus Scepter. Peddler. It's one of the problems with Peddler and Dominion, not like super specifically, but if you knew the top card was Torturer, you would have held on to the Torturer, but the Peddler. But so if Peddler was instead Torturer, you wouldn't have held on to it. But since you don't know what the top card is, you have this Peddler in hand that you have to play and hope that the top card is the Torturer, or you discard it and keep a silver, which is worth more. So maybe the Peddler draws a curse or an estate or something. It's not like the biggest deal in the world, but it is something. All right, we're going to lead on Zombie Apprentice now. And play a Lackeys. Okay. So now the question is, we can displace all of our coppers into silver. Into what? Fool's Golds? What else is down there? We can also just like Zombie Mason once. We can Zombie Mason once. We can Zombie Apprentice once. So the question is, do I really want to now go into Fool's Golds with the piles where they are? It seems like it's better than nothing. Fool's Golds are better than coppers. It costs me 1 villager. The alternative is play 3 coppers and then play Zombie Apprentice. It's just the question is, am I really going in for Fool's Golds, or do I want to go for something different? If nothing else, the Fool's Golds can be remodeled into something different. Perhaps I needed to have played differently, because this is all my Scepters, so it's going to be hard for me to Scepter stuff next turn. I think Fool's Gold would be better than coppers here, if I can even align them just a couple of times. The alternative is I just buy another Scepter here, or I could even buy a Canal here, depending on what I draw. I think grabbing 3 Fool's Golds is a decent use of a turn. All right, so we're going to start by playing this as Zombie Spy. Discard Yeah, so we're going to Scepter Displace a couple of times and gain some Fool's Golds. I could also turn this Lackeys into a Necromancer now, but... And turn. I could have possibly done things differently. I really don't want to see this curse in this shuffle, but I know they have Scepters down there. Really don't want to see curses discard crap into this shuffle. I think I'm going to have to gain at least one curse, so keep bad cards in exile. So I anticipate they'll be able to do this again. Just discard down to nothing. Really not happy to have this crap in the shuffle, and have my Torturer miss the shuffle like this. Well, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is pretty decent. I'm going to apprentice this now, and hopefully find some more stuff. Okay, did not find more stuff. All right, I guess I'm just clicking on provinces now. I'm really not sure. They shouldn't have a Torturer down here, although they picked up a second one last turn, but they haven't shuffled yet, so they shouldn't have a Torturer easily getting to this turn. The Peddlers are actually quite nice. Here I'm just going to grab a bunch of Fool's Golds. 3 Fool's Golds. Okay, they did find a Torturer this turn. Guess I'm taking all the curses. Nuts, they found their Torturer. So my Torturer bottom decked there. I don't really see how I am to avoid my Torturer bottom decking and the significantly negative effect it has on this game. If it doesn't bottom deck that last turn, I've got a chance to do quite a bit more. As it is, they're able to get this really nice turn off. Just grab all the Fool's Golds now and hope to hit some provinces. Maybe get a Torturer turn going. I'm probably just going to take the rest of the curses this turn, unfortunately. I'm not really sure how it all went wrong. I thought I was doing okay, and maybe it was just if turn 11 I draw my Torturer at any point here with all these Scepters. Maybe I should have gotten a second Torturer over the third Scepter. I don't know. I'm just going to gain the rest of the curses here and feel really bad about it. I don't really know how I'm supposed to make this work. I will discard, I suppose. Well, they've just got a third. I don't know. This feels like I'm just letting them win the game, which is maybe the case. I think if I draw my stuff not in the worst order, I'm doing better, but I didn't even find my Torturer at all. So I can play that. Let me go Zombie Spy, top deck. So I've got a Torturer on top, which is not like super useful, but at least I've got it. But not aligning my Torturer with Scepter. So maybe if I get a second Torturer, but the Torturer was all the way at the bottom of my deck. So if I don't bottom deck my Torturer and they don't medium deck their Torturer the next shuffle to get to it, maybe they were going to hit it pretty likely anyways. But I felt like I was in okay position, and the Torturers just kind of wrecked my day. The alignment of Torturers. I don't really know. I mean, they may have just had a better plan here. I thought I was doing okay there in the middle game, but it all just kind of went wrong. And I ended up taking 8 curses or something. Some of that I think has to be just not finding the Torturers at the right time. They seemed to find their Torturers at the right times. I don't think... I think I'm technically thinner than them. before the curses came in. So I'm not really sure. Turn 11, turn 10. I didn't play Torturers turn 10. But I didn't see my Torturer turn 11 at all. So I did finally see my Torturer turn 10. But I didn't see it turn 11. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. We both converged on the same plan pretty quickly. I hadn't necessarily been there. They may have been working towards that. Let's see what they took. Peddler. Okay. So Zombie Spy card action. Look at the top card of my deck. Top deck that. Draw here. Yeah, so I need to get a province here. I guess I'm going to use my last coffer to displace this province into a duchy, a gold. Gold lets me get double province, potentially. And then take coins, and then just buy a duchy here. Get my Torture and the Displace into the shuffle. And try to grab a couple provinces, maybe align the Displace with the gold before they can. And get 2 provinces in a turn, or province duchy in that turn. Although I have seen all my Fool's Golds here. And if they have best draw, and they get a Displace into play, then they can Displace into Fool's Golds and win that way. Although it's 4 Displace plays, so it's not super easy. And I'm also looking at their Displace in their discard pile. So it looks like they're just going to look to province this turn. And I will play 3 Fool's Golds here, silver, and buy a province, no matter what they do. I think, yeah, no matter what they do. If they double province here, I can't win without taking more provinces. This is kind of a remarkable draw in the deck consistency that I have, drawing 3 Fool's Gold, Silver, Scepter. I'm not like... okay, so the plan is play 3 Fool's Golds, buy a province. Here, not much to do other than gain an estate and a duchy, looks like. I could also get a Canal, but estate and duchy seems better than that. A little bit sad that I'm not seeing my... Displace with gold, but it's a big shuffle, so that's pretty unlikely. Also, that I've seen my 2 Scepters without actions to play is sad. Depending on what they do on this turn, I could displace a curse into Fool's Gold. If they don't take green. Okay, they've got Peddlers. They have Peddlers. This is something that I have not considered in the course of this kingdom. The value of Peddlers with Displace. Okay, well, I think this is worth the info. There is a bit of an info there that I've played my Displace already, but I just need the green stuff, so... Green stuff being green cards, so... potentially they can province here. They could even double province with best draw, drawing Displace, and Peddler, and a bunch of green cards. I do have a gold down there, so I'm pretty much going to lead on Zombie Apprentice and hope they have a bad turn here. Not much I can do. I think their deck tossed a ton of curses into my deck and kind of fell apart. I guess if I'd just not taken curses and passed a turn, and they have to waste a couple villagers. But it looks like they have a substantial amount of VP here. Yeah, this seems not possible to come back from. But it'll be quick to the end, so I'll play it out. Yeah, I need to get, what, 2 duchies, 3 duchies, and a province. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can play this as Zombie Mason. Don't gain. Okay, that at least nets a point. Is there anything down there that I can play this as that could be better than draw? I've already played Mason, right? I'm just going to buy a duchy, so I might as well play this as Spy. Leave that on top. But the Torturer... yeah, it's sort of remarkable my first hand had all that crap in it when, this last hand had 3 curses and a province in it, same shuffle. They're out of villagers, so they have to draw their Displace to do the Displace tricks. And they've only got 1, so it is quite a bit harder for them to do the Displace tricks.
They have to find it eventually, and I think it's in their discard pile currently. So the early Peddlers, wow, they had a gold, and yeah, the Displaced gold. Okay, so good game for them. And we move on to game 3.